3 of the best ways that I've found to depuff my face and under eye area. I have disappeared from the internet for a while, and I went through a really traumatic period for like a good year, to say the least. And in due time, I feel like I will be able to speak about that, especially as I grow and heal along the way. But I'm not gonna lie, there have been days where it's hard to take care of myself, and other days where I feel just fine. And today is one of those days where I've had a nice little high and then a little low, and then a little high and then a little low. And all of these are emotional things that I have to navigate, but it's really like amplified when I go out in public and people make comments about my under eyes or my face, you know, asking things like, are you tired? Are you not wearing makeup today? And as someone who is confident in my body and my beauty and wants to embrace myself the way I embrace others, I'm not gonna lie, when I have almost like a lowered mental state, like when I'm already feeling emotionally vulnerable or something, and someone makes a comment like that, it does really amplify it for me. And although that has been a struggle, there have been many things that I have tested and tried. And I want to bring you 3 of the things that have worked best for me so far. And these are 3 different things that work for different types of facial puffiness, because not all facial puffiness or under eye puffiness is the same. And I've tried everything from ice rollers, and I even did like a skincare routine on a plane. I tried Dr. Shreen Idris's skincare line with like the depuffing arnica gel. That's pretty good, but it doesn't make it to the top 3. And I do want to share what these top 3 things are. And hopefully one day I'll be able to share the things that have happened to me or for me, be able to open up about that, because I am healing and no longer balding, you know, thanks to my eye restore hair helmet, which is a story for another day. But let's talk about facial puffiness, because there are 3 different types of facial puffiness that these 3 things help with. And these are also at 3 different price points for 3 different people. The first type of under eye puffiness is what I call overnight puffiness. It's if you wake up in the morning and your face just looks swollen. This can happen from sleeping on your pillow, to eating too much salty food, to not having good fluid balance or retention, to hormones and bad sleep, or crying, which is very, very difficult. I would call this overall facial puffiness, and usually something like lymphatic drainage and cold patches can really help. The second is direct under eye puffiness. This is the puffiness that happens directly under the eyes, and again, it can happen in the morning, usually for me, but for some people it can happen all throughout the day. Now this is different than permanent puffiness that just kind of stays and lingers, but it's the puffiness that kind of happens right under this area, and you can get it to go down eventually. But the permanent puffiness is basically when the skin loses its collagen and elastin, when it loses its stiffness, right? It becomes a little bit more lax, and the actual structures that hold the skin start to sag. This causes any fluid or any adipose, or otherwise known as fat tissue, in that skin to kind of start creating pockets. And it can create things like hooded eyes or under eye bags. And some people actually get their fat pads removed, but other people decide to go through lasers or lifting, which is actually this first device here. And this is the most expensive option, but it's definitely one of the most unique, because this is the Nira laser. And this is an FDA cleared laser that basically shoots heat and energy into the skin. It heats up the water molecules inside of the skin to the point that it causes a little bit of irritation underneath the skin, which means that your body and skin recruits immune cells and has like a cytokine storm to basically get all of your body's little healing cells and soldiers to that area to actually stimulate what's called a fibroblast, those special cells inside of the skin that literally blast out things like collagen and elastin to make your skin strong and stretchy and resilient. Now this laser is FDA cleared, and they actually have 2. These can be used, yes, on the eyes, but I've actually used these on the chest and elsewhere as well. And what I like about this is that it is safe to use in this upper eye area. You can use it around the eye, but then if you wanted to, you could also use this on areas like the jowls or other areas that do get a little bit saggy. And this is for someone who's maybe a little bit more mature. You've had gravity do some work on your face, or someone who lost a lot of weight. Weight loss is also something we have to talk about, specifically unintentional weight loss for me. And you know, when you lose too much weight in too quick of a time, you might notice skin laxity. And there are certain things like lasers that can help that skin stay taut, especially after weight loss, whether it's from depression or trauma or hormones, or from purposeful diet, exercise, and healthy living. I do like that it's FDA cleared, and the technology is basically the same as what's used in professional clinics. But because it doesn't have that same power rating, it's something that people can actually use at home. And I personally use this on others in clinic. I've incorporated this into treatments for people who have more elastic, I would call like young or firm skin, and also for people who do have more sun damaged, or people who do have more lax skin, essentially skin that is older or has matured a bit more. And I've seen great results with both. The thing is that you have to use these consistently. And again, this is what I use on myself and others, but what I found to be really helpful for overall facial puffiness. And it doesn't hurt. You basically put it on, it beeps. It's best to use it regularly, and then over time you can keep it for maintenance, or you can pass it off to a friend when you're done. These Nira lasers have been around for a while, and this was the one that I originally used probably 3 years ago, but they recently launched this one, which I personally like better because I can get kind of those jowls and those other areas that I have found have been a little bit more saggy for me. Now again, I am not someone who has struggled with severe facial sagging, although I have struggled with severe facial puffiness, but when I've used this on others, that's when I can actually see how it works on dry skin or mature skin or skin of different colors and Fitzpatrick types. These have been wonderful, and if you're looking for something at home that you can invest in, this is a tool that does give you that laser result, that tightening and that lifting at home. And it is safe for around the eye areas, which a lot of other devices aren't. There's also radio frequency. Radio frequency is something that I have used around the eyes. I've shared my Amaro before, but some people are concerned about fat loss in the under eye area or adipose tissue degradation. I personally haven't seen that, but it's something that I am looking into. And this is something that doesn't cause that I'm using in the meantime. Now, there are different types of puffiness though. For example, waking up with under eye puffiness or experiencing under eye puffiness throughout the days. There are definitely different creams or lifting things that you can put under your eyes and spend a ton of money on, but I don't find that those are super beneficial. I find that they're very temporary, or they're like a cream that claims to lift and then it doesn't. What I found to be even better are patches, specifically those that lay under the eyes and actually cause mechanical pressure. This, imagine like a finger sitting underneath the eyes. It's basically causing pressure here, which helps to drain the fluid. Now, if on top of that you have beneficial ingredients or even micro darts, you can actually put more of those ingredients into that under eye area. And I have found that the micro dart under eye patches are my favorite. The first ones I tried of the micro dart under eye patches were from Skin Iceland, but they were like 14 to 20 bucks per eye package. And later on, I saw Dr. Munib Shah. He was sharing about the Cure face mask, and I've been looking at like their microneedling stuff. I've been looking at their face masks, their LED masks, and I found these micro infusion targeted patches. These are amazing. And these are basically a less expensive version of the Skin Iceland ones, but they have these micro darts that are infused with skincare that you can actually do in the under eye area, but you can also do them on the 11 lines and the smile lines. When I use these, I can literally see that my eye is like brighter underneath and depuffed. I like to wear these overnight, especially if I know that I've had a rough day or if I have eaten a lot of popcorn or something that I know is going to make my face a little bit more puffy. These have been a lifesaver, and because they're relatively thin, I can actually travel with them really easily or put them in my purse or a backpack. Cure does sell actual micro needles. They sell like micro needle technology, which some people use on their face, which I'm a little skeptical of. I did buy them with the intention of putting them in my scalp, but I haven't worked up the nerve to do that yet because I'm very nervous. But Cure obviously knows micro needles and micro stamps very well. And this is basically a micro stamping technology, but it's in a dart without the actual metal. So there's no needle, even though it is a micro dart. Very similar to the Zitstica Killa patches, but with different ingredients. The Zitstica Killa patches are probably my favorite patches for pimples, even though they're expensive, but this is like an under eye version for puffiness. And again, it even shows that you can put them on different areas depending on where you get puffy. And you can even use them on smile lines or 11 lines on the face if you do have deep set wrinkles there. I think the biggest thing for me is just seeing when I take them off, my eyes are literally brighter, and I absolutely love that about these. They specifically have caffeine and copper tripeptide 1, as well as niacinamide, which are all ingredients that are fantastic for the skin. Those copper peptides, there's actually a lot of research that's coming out about peptides. Even Nira has a peptide cream that you can use. Really fantastic for skin stimulation and can help to depuff in the right circumstances. But even the niacinamide is really good if you do have darkness or a little bit of uneven pigment in the under eye area, which again, under eye pigment is different than an under eye shadow from a bag or something, but because of the ingredients and the mechanical pressure, this can help with both. We've also got retinol in here, which is really unique for an under eye patch. I normally don't find a lot of under eye patches with retinol in them in a like micro infusion dart. And then it has antioxidants like madecassoside and centella, which can also be really hydrating to the under eye area. We've also got some licorice in there, which is fantastic for, again, any of that darkness and pigmentation. So if you're someone who struggles with under eye puffiness, like targeted under eye puffiness, as well as pigmentation, this is a must. And this is probably the least expensive item that you can get to depuff, yes, the under eyes, but also other areas of the face. Now there's also cryotherapy. Cryotherapy is otherwise known as cold therapy, and I have used a lot of different ice rollers and tools and gadgets and gazmos, and currently this is my favorite. This is the Charlotte Tilbury, very scary looking face mask. This basically like pins your ears, and there are these like little caviar beads, vegan of course, cruelty free, but they're like these caviar beads and this metal inside of this silicone. And you can essentially put this in the fridge and then on your face to depuff, or you can put this in the fridge or the freezer, put a face mask on, and then put this on. And what I love about this is when I use it with a face mask, it literally helps the ingredients in the face mask penetrate deeper and further, but then it gives me this depuffing and this lifting. And it actually has these areas right around the forehead. It's gonna look so scary, but it has these areas right around the forehead that kind of press this in. And because it has this additional chin strap, it actually helps to lift the jaw area, which a lot of the other ones you just loop around the ear and it doesn't actually get the jaw. So this actually helps with the jaw and the face, and when you do this with a face mask, it is mwah, chef's kiss. You can use it on its own, but it's definitely better when you double up. And again, you could just use this on top of a face mask to like help that face mask penetrate deeper and to stop evaporation. Face masks have moisture, but that moisture evaporates. That's why they get dry at the end. But if you put this on, it basically pushes it into the skin, so there's less evaporation. But I like to put this in the freezer because it actually adds that cooling component, but it's not like ice that can actually cause damage to the skin or damage to rosacea. If you use ice directly on the skin, it can cause like frost nip if you're not careful, or if you're using a sodium or salt-based product, that actually lowers the freezing point of water. For those who didn't know, you probably knew because you're a skin intellectual, but like literally salt water or salt lowers the freezing temperature of water. And that means that the ice that's on your skin, if you have a salt-based product, or even if you have like a salt-based product or there's salt or sodium in a product, can actually decrease the temperature, cause more coldness to the skin, can actually cause damage to those tissues. And this kind of, it's not actual ice, it's just this cold metallic conductive silicone material, and it just presses this onto a face mask, which is what goes on the skin. And I have found this to just elevate any face mask. If you do face masks regularly, or if you want to do face masks regularly, this is a way to elevate them. Of course, you can put face masks in the fridge or the freezer, that's fine too, but I literally just keep this in the freezer or in its little bag when I'm traveling, and I can just pop it out, put it on, look strange, post some cringe content to the internet, and be on my way. Actually see lifting very quickly in maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day. And this is kind of the medium price offering. I've had to go through so much when it comes to figuring out what does and doesn't work for me, and also like simple solutions, things that don't take a million hours or a million steps. And again, when I am mentally able and stable enough to talk about these things, I really look forward to sharing them, because I wish there were a guidebook on how to deal with these things that I've been going through. But so far, I have the internet, my beautiful butterflies, who have been there to support me even when I am unable to show up, which I appreciate. I have amazing friends and family who are there for me when I need, when I'm strong enough to actually reach out. Overall, I have tools and devices and products that, yes, help me feel inspired by chemistry and anatomy and the world around me, and, you know, feel invigorated on a day that I don't look or feel my best. So that's my monologue. I will link all of these below. Please go check them out and actually leave a comment telling me which type of facial puffiness you struggle with the most. And if you have other questions or requests, leave them down there so I can try to help answer them, or if I can't, at least we can have a discussion. Maybe we can brainstorm a solution or think of the next best place to ask. Overall, always remember to be beautiful both inside and out. I love you, and thanks for understanding and working with me as I struggle through it, but also succeed through it, right? I love you, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Bye.